Hello friends, welcome to this lecture on Rancher. In fact, to be precise, provisioning Oracle OKE cluster container engine for Kubernetes on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure using Rancher. I have deployed my Rancher on this portal rancher.co.in and I'm working on it. This rancher.co.in, this portal is hosted on Google Cloud and this is a machine where I'm working on. So I created one Google account and cloud account on Google, and I provisioned this machine and I deployed this Rancher on this instance. This instance is using Oracle Linux, or sorry, CentOS Linux, and to be precise, Rocky Linux 8.6, which is the operating system used for this. And on that machine, I've created K3S. This is the K3S version 1.23.9 using K3S1. This is the machine and this is my Rancher deployment. Now on this Rancher, using this Rancher, I'm going to provision container engine for Kubernetes, that is Oracle OKE. Right now there's no Kubernetes. I'm logged into my Oracle account also. This is my Oracle account. This is my Oracle account and this is a compartment created for OKE. In fact, I also created one policy here for managing Oracle OKE, managing all resources, and that policy is created for this purpose. A statement of this policy is allow service OKE to manage all resources in tenancy. This statement, this policy is required. I created this policy statement. Also, I created one compartment dedicatedly where my OKE should be hosted, and that is OKE. Compartment name is OKE. The OCID of this compartment is already captured in the notepad file which I'll be using. I'll not come back to this screenshot again and again. What I also captured is under user settings the API keys. Now if you add the API key directly from here, that won't work with Rancher. Rancher will not recognize that key. You need to create the private public key pair in PEM format using the command OpenSSL generate RSA, and this is the key which I created in PEM format, and this is a private key and public key pair created which is available under .oci folder. So the private key I'm using and the public key which is available here is pasted here. This is the public key pasted. This is a fingerprint of the public key you can see here. So the public key to make calls from Rancher to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, do not use this public key directly by generating key pair using this method. This will not work. This is verified and tried and tested. Rather than that, you use paste public key and paste the public key generated by this command. So I'm using this key. So this is public key.crt. This is the PEM format key. Name does not matter. This is the public key which I pasted, and this is the private key which I'm going to use. cat.oci, and this is the private key I'm using. This is the private key I will be using in Rancher to make call. So private key will be used in Rancher. Public key needs to be pasted here. The user OCID I already captured, tenancy OCID already captured, compartment OCID already have. All the details I have captured in a notepad file. So we are good to go. Let's understand how to deploy this Oracle OKE container engine for Kubernetes. A lot of efforts have gone inside this. In fact, I verified a lot of things, whether documentation has mentioned that or not. And I have many observations to make and many points to discuss, which will be very important, because if you try first time, then you definitely you'll face problems. So if you don't watch this carefully, you're going to miss that. So let's create the Oracle OKE. I'm seeing this Oracle OAE because of the driver. I activated the driver. The driver activated here is Oracle OKE. And interesting point is this, very carefully. This plugin, which you see 1.7.1, if you go to this URL, this plugin is not supporting 8.6 or 8 version of Oracle Linux, which means if you use Oracle Linux 8.6 or Oracle Linux 8 or 9 or latest version, this is not going to support that, and hence it will fail. That's very important to understand that this plugin need to be updated, upgraded. The developers of the plugin should take care of this plugin and they should get back. I noticed that there's a latest version of the plugin is available. When I visited this plugin page, so when I visited this plugin page, if I notice the latest version is 1.8.3. But when I created this plugin, when I pulled this plugin, the UI is not in updated. The UI page which is available here is still 1.3.4, so they are not matching. Therefore, I cannot go with this particular plugin version. So I have to stay or restrict myself to the existing plugin only, and I have to use the operating system which is compatible with this plugin. So therefore, I have activated this default Oracle OKE. Node driver also I activated. That is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Node driver. I activated that also. So that's the region when I go to cluster management and when I create it, I see this Oracle OKE also, and I see Oracle OCI also. This is for manage, provision new nodes and create a cluster with RKE or K3S directly. So we are going to use this method, Oracle OKE. Now the name and the details, I'm providing the details, Oracle OKE. Member roles default is admin, so I'm not going to change. Labels not required right now, annotation not required. Tenancy OCID and all the details I'm going to fill that from my uh, capture the detail from the notepad file. So tenancy OCID, region, fingerprint, user OCID. I'm not using any password or passphrase for this key. This is the private key as I discussed, which is mentioned here on this local local machine. I'm using this key pair in PEM format generated by the command which I just talked about, mentioned here. Now the private key I pasted, passphrase no, fingerprint, and the public key and the user OCID, tenancy OCID filled in properly. Let's click on next. Now here is a very important point. I verified version port 2.5, 23.4, 24.1, 25.4 all are working as long as we don't use Oracle Linux 8 or 9. If you use Oracle 7.9, everything will work. We are going to use 24.1, just one version prior is always good recommended version. Always try to avoid the latest version. So 24.1 is what I'm going to use. I verified it on 22, 23, and now I'm trying on 24. And 25 also, in fact, I verified. So this is my compartment OCID. The compartment OCID which I just share with you, that my compartment is created specifically for this purpose, which is available here. Uh, Identity and services, as I told you that I have created a compartment for this purpose only. Because if you use root compartment, that is tenancy OCID, it won't work. These are all verified details. Either you learn from my experience or you commit the same mistake and learn from your own mistakes. So the compartment OCID, you need to create a dedicated compartment for this purpose. Next part is also very crucial because if you choose anything wrong, again it will fail. So verified details I'm just sharing, right? Because documentation is not mentioning all these things. So shape you select, let's say for example I'm using VM standard this E4 flex and I use 2 CPU machine. because two CPU is always recommended, and the operating system is the most important thing, because I verified with OKE not working, with the Gen 2 CPU OKE not working. Then I tried Oracle 8.6 OKE not working. Then I tried normal Oracle 8.6 not working. So this one architecture or this one never worked. I have spent nearly 3 4 days, because every provisioning, every effort take around half an hour. So to be precise, 45 minutes. So I verified all these things one by one, and finally what worked successfully, the compatibility of the plugin and the compatibility. It's not the matter of a rancher. I think it is a matter of the plugin configured for this purpose. I'm talking about this plugin, the container engine driver OKE. This is always behind. In fact, why I use the old version plugin, if you look at the releases, uh, if you see, and how I reached to that conclusion that 1.7 should be the plugin I should use, because of the date around which it was released and date around which the operating system available at that time. The popular operating system at that time was 7.9, so I assumed that it was tried and tested on Oracle 7.9 or CentOS 7.9. That's the reason I use this operating system version. So 7.9 public key is to normal RSA key pair public key I'm using if I want to access my machines from my local machine using SSH. I'm talking about cluster nodes, the nodes which will be used in node pool. So this is shape operating system, very crucial. 7.9, I mean Oracle Linux 7 will work, 8 will not work, 9 will not work, nothing. All I tried and tested, and now click on create. Interestingly, I'm using Rancher 2.6.9, 2.7. It will not work. I verified all these things on local system also. So this provisioning has started, and I can monitor these updates here under conditions. So just now I'm started monitoring, and here you will see the networking being created, VCN being created, and cluster being provisioned. I'll go to the OKE compartment, and this will be created first. It'll start with VCN, then it will provision the OKE cluster, Kubernetes cluster on OCI, which is named as OKE. So if I refresh it, I should get that maybe in a minute or two maximum. Yes, so the VCN is created, as you can see, and within a few minutes you will see that OKE also being provisioned will come up. So I'm watching clusters in OKE compartment, and within a few seconds, hopefully I'll get that also. Now you see that cluster is being created. I can verify once it is created. It will take around 20-minute time, and once it is created, then we'll be able to see that here also, and it will show us as active. Now after 14 minutes, you can see the status is active and node pool is being created. It is not created. I know it will take time. As I said, it will take nearly 20 minutes. So I can see the node pool is being created. That's happening, and Rancher is doing this. So all these things must be active. This Kubernetes node condition should be active and ready state. Node should be ready state. That will take around another 5 7 minutes. You see the node state. Two nodes are in active state, and Kubernetes node condition is not ready state. And this is installing software right now. We're just monitoring what is happening. And now you see all the nodes are active. Therefore, you can see the cluster is in active state. That is node pool. But till now, Kubernetes node condition is not ready. So it will take more minutes. As I said, 20 minutes. So 18 minutes already gone. So we have to wait for another 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, let's look at what all possibilities, what all features this cluster offer. Let's go and check our local cluster. This is my local cluster, means I'm talking about rancher.co.in because I deployed Rancher on this machine, which is hosted on Google Cloud. Let's look at some applications, apps, and what is deployed, installed apps. If you see, I have deployed MySQL and Jenkins on this. We can deploy other applications also. Simply go to the charts and select the application what you want to deploy. For example, if you want to deploy Tomcat, simply select it and you can deploy it. So default settings I'm using right now. I'm not changing anything. Install and default namespace, no customization. I'm simply deploying it, and I'm deploying it on my cluster hosted on Google Cloud. I'm talking about directly rancher.co.in, which it itself is running on a cluster. So this will deploy this. So let's see in the meanwhile, this is, yeah, I can see that Kubernetes node condition is also a ready state. That's good. So it will take another 1 minute or so to see the status to be active. So this part is done here. If you look at these nodes, these compute nodes are in private subnet. They'll not have public IP. And let me show you. Go to any of these subnets. You see that public IP is not assigned to any of these. So they are available in the private subnet, which essentially means you have to put them behind a load balancer and you have to deploy the load balancer also. That part is pending and that will do later. But right now, the cluster part, you can see that OKE, Oracle OKE is ready. So I can see that here. So this is active. Node pools and nodes. All nodes are ready. Let's go in the meanwhile. This part, this is deploying Tomcat. Let me open another page to see the status of the cluster which I deployed, and I'm sure by now it must be in active state. Go to cluster management and see its provisioning. It will take another minute or two, I'm sure about it. So let's go and check the condition. 21 minute. It's about to be in ready state. Just few more minutes. All right, it's reconciling. So right now it is provisioning, imported. So once it is ready, you will see this cluster also in a ready state, and I'm waiting for that. So this deployment of Tomcat is still going on this machine. So let's wait for this, and now you can see it is waiting the change status, waiting for the API to be available. So the provisioning link is gone. Now it is in waiting state because I can see the machines, 3 machines. So the machine which was not coming earlier, that has come now. So this API is ready is false because it's still waiting for the API to respond. But partial information you can see is available after 22 minutes. So 3 machines I can see here. This will also go in a, and once it is in active state, then I will be able to deploy applications and I will be able to manage this cluster directly from Rancher itself. I don't have to go to OCI to manage this cluster. Let's wait and watch. What about this? It's still going on. Service not have load balancer. Yeah, that's the ingress IP address. I have not deployed ingress, so let's cancel this. I don't need this. Pending install. I don't need this. I'm deleting it because it needs a load balancer. I have not created any. I have not deployed any ingress actually. So I'm skipping this part, going back to this. Now it is active state. So what we have seen is Oracle OKE. The version is not visible. It will be visible. Oracle OKE is deployed using Rancher. So I have closed that and now you see the version is also visible. So it is 1.24 version, 1.24.1 is deployed successfully on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure through Rancher, which is hosted on Google Cloud. And if we can click on this and we can explore this, all right, directly from here also, you can select this, the cluster name, Oracle OKE, and you can go to apps also, and you can deploy apps also. Now I'm going to deploy some applications. For example, I want to deploy monitoring. Let's deploy monitoring stack on OKE to monitor my Kubernetes cluster on OCI. That will be perfect idea. So I'm deploying monitoring stack Prometheus Alert Manager and Grafana complete and no customization needed. It will deploy it. Install. Cluster type, I had to select RKE other, yeah, K3S. Let it deploy first. I know I forgot that, but I hope it will work. Default setting, I'm just referring, default setting should work. And then once the monitoring is deployed, I will be able to monitor my Oracle OKE from Rancher itself because all dashboards will be available here. Perfect. It is done. One is deployed, almost done. So the monitoring stack, Grafana Alert Manager in Prometheus is also being deployed almost. Let me open another tab and we can see. So Oracle OKE and then monitoring. So under monitoring system, you will see the Grafana, Alert Manager, Prometheus Graph, Prometheus rules, everything is deployed. This is successfully deployed here. You can see the success message here. So therefore, I can monitor using Grafana directly from here. So I'm monitoring my Oracle OKE from Rancher dashboard. So whether it is monitoring or Prometheus or Alert Manager, everything is out of box available. So I'm monitoring, this is Rancher Kubernetes components, that is nodes monitoring. Similarly, I can go back to Rancher and you see what all folders are and what all monitoring. This is monitoring volumes, persistent volumes data. So this complete monitoring stack is available, Kubernetes components. So all multiple rows are configured. So this is monitoring stack deployed successfully. Core DNS, whatever you monitor, want to see a lot of folders and a lot of panels are created. Pods. Let's monitor the pods also. All right. So that dashboard is deployed successfully with variables. You can select these variables from the drop down, which namespace you can change the namespace. So the monitoring stack, alert manager, Prometheus graph also, let's check the Prometheus also. So in other words, complete monitoring stack is deployed on Oracle OKE directly from this dashboard. So point is, Rancher is excellent when you want to manage multiple Kubernetes clusters hosted on different service providers or even hosted locally. So even deployment is very easy. As you have seen, I just deployed monitoring stack, complete monitoring stack using this Rancher itself. So a lot of graphs available. Like if I want to deploy Jenkins, I can deploy Jenkins also. Like if I want to use CI/CD, probably I'll have that. And if I have Jenkins available, I can deploy. So Nginx or ingress controller. Let's deploy Nginx index controller also. Because in that case, what I will have is I will be able to get the load balancer also. Let's select this default image. Yeah, let's see. So point is, you can deploy any application, you can deploy monitoring stack, you can monitor, you can work. So once I have done all these things, I'm able to manage my entire Oracle OKE from Rancher itself, whether deploying application or deploying monitoring or activating, deactivating or disabling or deleting it, managing it. So let me open it once again, another tab, because I want to don't want to disturb this deployment which is happening. So under cluster management, this is active. If I want to delete it, I can simply delete it from here. I can manage it, and I can manage the complete clusters. And this is the real production scenario where you can have multiple clusters. You can have hundreds of clusters, each cluster having multiple nodes, and each node you want to manage separately. Application management, cluster management. I mean, Rancher has made the life very easy. This is my Rancher demo portal created only for this purpose. I booked a domain also for this, and the complete course on Kubernetes and Rancher will be available on this website, theskillpedia.com. This was a research work going on with all use case and the plugins, compatibility, verification, because more you feel, more you will learn. I have tried it multiple times, so I spent nearly 4 or 5 days on this setup to get this in working condition. So therefore, all my findings, all my research work will come into the lectures in the form of lectures on this website, the Skillpedia. Right now, this lecture will be available on YouTube also. You can watch it on YouTube as well. So now you can see the ingress is configured. This is successful. And now let's try to install that, what we were missing, which said Tomcat was not installed because of the load balancer, and I hope I should be able to do it now, because after ingress controller is installed in this, I should be able to get that Tomcat as well. Let's install Tomcat. Tomcat, where is that gone? Where is that gone? I saw the chart. Apache Tomcat. Oh, come on, man. I could see the chart was available. Monitoring, Citrix. Otherwise, I have to manually deploy it. Yeah, I don't see that now. Where the chart is gone. Okay, no problem. So what we have successfully done, team, is everybody, friends, we have successfully deployed cluster on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure completely. Now I can terminate it because that was only for demonstration purpose. I'm deleting it, and I just type to the name of the cluster, and it will delete that. So a point to be noted, it will delete every resource created on OCI. So don't have to worry, it will terminate everything, the cluster, the VCN, everything. Whatever it deployed, everything will be deleted. It'll take 5-7 minutes to delete. So that's all for this session. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.